The main reason I have given up on the old school tabletop role-playing game community online is because they argue that pushing ideas and opinions about tabletop role-playing games that might offend some people, well, that's wrong. It makes you a bad person. It means you are starting drama, and if you criticize someone's idea or opinion, it means you are personally attacking that human being, and that makes you an awful person. This is the open square of ideas, and the old school tabletop role-playing game community wants you to not share your ideas, to not argue for your ideas, and to not argue against what you think, what you perceive as bad ideas. They want to be able to say what they think of what other people are doing, but they don't want you calling them out when they do so. They want to put their ideas and opinions out into the open square of ideas, and they don't want anybody to try to debate what they have to say. And if you do try to debate their opinions, their ideas, they will tell you that you are personally attacking them and starting drama. They will paint what you're doing as being wrong and bad, and that makes you a bad human being. The idea that it is the listener who is in the wrong at that point, that it is not the person that is sharing their idea or debating what they think is a bad idea or bad opinion, that person is not in the wrong. It is the listener who is sensitive to what they are hearing and overreacting to it in the worst way. But they don't want to see that. They want to be served. They want their feelings to be the concern of people that talk on here. They don't realize that a lot of the drama that shows up when we're debating ideas isn't because of the people willing to debate the idea. It is the reaction of the audience that causes or creates the drama. The problem is, for the old school tabletop role-playing game community, over 90% of that audience is sensitive and insecure about what they believe, so they react to you poorly en masse. And no, I have not encountered any other audience on YouTube or anywhere on social media that is as large as the old school tabletop role-playing game community and reacts so poorly en masse, where 90+% of the people in that community are insecure and sensitive. I mean, it's the only community where the top people are really small compared to other YouTubers, but the number of people in the audience could allow any of these top content creators to have the numbers that would compete with larger YouTubers. Like, there is no reason why one of the larger content creators in the old school tabletop role-playing game community isn't keeping up with the numbers that, say, a Matt Colville has. We have the people that could give that support in the old school, but they don't. They are unique when it comes to any type of audience on YouTube. Like, if they disagree with 3% of what you're saying, you're not getting support in the old school. Yet in any other part of YouTube, the people listening could disagree with 10 or 20 or 30% of what you're saying, and they'll still support you, right? That 70% is enough to get the support. Your good content, or the content they perceive as good, is good enough to keep them there. The only audience that I know is so sensitive that if you say even one or two things that they don't like, that they'll throw you under the bus. It is the old school tabletop role-playing game community. It's not like there's not a minority in these other audiences that would do that to you, and when it comes to other content. But when it comes to the old school, it's not a minority. It's well over 90% of people that will do that to you in that audience. Like, imagine there's 8 million people in the audience, yet one of the largest YouTubers maybe has 5,000 people that are subbed to the channel on that content, even though the audience potentially is 8+ million people. Yet, here's one of the largest, someone with around 5,000 followers. Yet you go to any other part of the tabletop role-playing game hobby, and you go into their millions of people, and you'll notice they're larger YouTubers, have appropriate numbers. And the larger YouTubers like Matt Colville, his audience guarantee they don't agree with like 30% of what he says, but they still support him because that's the new school. When you get to the old school, even a guy who might be like Matt Colville might be at 7,000 followers right now. But if he jumps over to the new school, where the audience is not the same, where they perform a little bit more like the overall audience on YouTube, suddenly he has appropriate support. Period. As a YouTuber, if you want to get anywhere on YouTube, for even the slightest reason, when you look at the old school, it has to be one of the worst things you could possibly see. Like, it is the one audience a content creator probably doesn't want to serve, because the effort you put in there won't be appreciated. Like, look, I'm a busy guy with a life, and I have to work, and I have to do all kinds of things, right? I do commentary, so audio like this, and I take a lot of time out of my life to get the audio done, do streams, do videos. I do tons of content with commentary, and I don't have a lot of time to edit and do, unique things for my videos, but I put it out there. Now, just about everyone else on YouTube, when they see the amount of content I'm putting out, like other audiences, even if they're not into my content, when I talk to individuals from other audiences, they'll be like, man, you put a lot of work in there, because they understand that I have a life, I'm not getting paid from the internet. So I take all my years of experience, things I've went through, and I perform for the audience through my commentary, and I'm taking the time out to do this. It's a lifetime of experience behind my words. Yet, because I'll have old school people that are bitter with me because I have maybe one opinion that they don't like, even though they like 99 videos out of 100, I won't get their support because they like 99 videos. They'll actually be against me because of one video out of 100 that they don't like. And because of that one video, I'll hear criticism like, I'm lazy. I don't put the effort in on YouTube. Well, dude, here's how it works. I work for a living. I have a life. Like, the time I give to YouTube is effort, right? Like this time is my effort, my passion, my everything goes into what I'm saying. I'm performing for the audience. Just because I don't put up other, cues of videos and pictures and all that, because I don't have the time to, and I don't care for it at the same time, it doesn't mean I'm not putting the effort in for people. But when you got people that are, that are sensitive, they're insecure, and you say one thing that they don't like, instead of trying to debate you, they'll personally attack you. And that is something that almost every old school content creator does. Like, say, a YouTube content creator, you have one minor disagreement with them, and let alone the audience will attack you personally. So will the content creator. So even the content creator, their content creators really behave more like the audience to kiss the audience's ass. The issue is, no matter how much ass kissing you do to the old school audience, they still don't reward you appropriately. Like, the most kiss-ass YouTube content creators on here that are kissing the ass of the old school, out of the 8 million plus potential followers, they might have 3,000, 4,000, or 5,000, and they're putting their noses up the asses of that audience, and that is all they're getting for their efforts. It is sad. And all of this is the reason I totally gave up on that audience. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your passion. They make it an empty road to hoe, where you're not there to have a great relationship with the audience and do that. You're there to be their slave. That's the difference. When it comes to the old school tabletop role-playing game audience, they're not like another audience. You're not there to entertain them in that way. You're there to serve them like a slave. And when you don't do what they want, like completely, like if you make one video out of 100 that they don't like, but they like the other 99, you're being crucified. You're being thrown off a cliff for the one video, right? And then again, even the people that kiss their asses, they do not reward en masse, which they should or could. And then those top content creators could keep up with somebody like Matt Colville. But when you leave the old school and you go, say, to the new school or any other audience on YouTube, and you make the same effort these old school top content creators are making, the people outside of that world get, their audience rewards them with appropriate numbers. But when you get to the old school, there's no reward. It doesn't matter how much you entertain. If you're not a complete slave to what they think, they will not reward you. And you'll notice that the top content creators, regardless of how raunchy or aggressive they speak, they're speaking to appease the audience, right? It's like they can be aggressive about this because the audience likes that. But if they're aggressive verbally about another topic the audience doesn't like, the audience will turn on them in a heartbeat. That is how the old school works. If you're okay with going nowhere in life through any effort you make on YouTube, like if you're just okay with never succeeding at anything on YouTube or the internet, if you're trying to grow or make money or something like that, that doesn't matter to you. The old school is fine. Go play in that playground. It won't matter if your reputation gets hurt because you're not looking for anything on here. If you're looking for anything, the old school is the worst community, period, to go to. Like if you want anything outside of nothing, you will not get that from them. And you can spend years. You can be one of the guys with 5,000 or 6,000 followers, and you do your streams, and maybe 3 or 4 years ago you were getting like 50 or 60 likes. And you're thinking, oh man, that means I got to grow. I got an audience here, and that's going to be good. And you'll grow audience-wise slightly, but you'll notice 3 or 4 years later, your stream is still getting the same 50 or 60 fucking likes, and it hasn't gone up. Well, that's the old school. You're kissing ass for the 50 or 60 likes, but no matter how much ass kissing you do, you'll never get the 500 likes. You'll never get the 500,000 followers. You'll never get what Matt Colville has, and that is because of that audience. And to me, it makes it a waste of time because it doesn't mean that I want all these things from my efforts on here, but there are a few things I do want to succeed at, that I do put the effort, into this for that reason. And if I go to the old school audience, well, they crucify that. They take that away from me. So when I step away from that audience, it's always better. It always improves my situation when I stop serving them. And so that's why I don't serve them now. And I don't see me ever serving them in the future because I do not see that audience changing. And again, I don't know another audience that is that extreme in the areas that matter on YouTube for growth and money or anything you want to do. Again, if you don't care about anything, if you don't care about your reputation, you don't care about growing on YouTube, you're doing YouTube the way you would get on and have a private conversation on Discord, then it doesn't matter. Fair enough. Go have your fun. It won't matter if they rip you apart. But if you want to sell a book, sell a game, grow on YouTube, do anything, the old school tabletop role-playing game community is the worst people on the entire internet to try to serve for that purpose. And go look at their top people that have been kissing their ass for years and see if they've gotten anywhere really worthwhile that would compete with a guy like Matt Colville. Because in the old school, we had the numbers to compete with Matt Colville and Matt Mercer and all these other people with our top content creators. So if we have the numbers, which we do, why don't we have guys with 500,000 followers? And why is it that all the potential best old school guys that might have gotten around 10,000 at one point had to step away from that audience to grow even more? There's certain guys out there that you would not consider straight old school content creators anymore, even though they like old school. But at one point they were going down that path. It went nowhere. They jumped out of that and went to other content, either video games or new school content like 5e. Why? Because the old school audience, once you understand the truth, once you see how the numbers are working as a YouTuber, you understand what I'm saying is 100% true. And if you've been around this game for a few years, you can't deny what I'm saying. The old school audience is the worst audience on YouTube, period. And if you want any success at anything, walk away. No, don't walk away. Run away from that audience. Anyway, for now, take care.